Chapter 38. Skadi knows all, shoots all. I didn't want to let go of Alex. Or maybe I just physically couldn't. Two of Scotty's yacht service literally had to pull us apart. One of them carried me up a winding set of stairs into the fortress, my body still hunched in hobbling old man position. Compared to outside, Scotty's hall felt like a sauna, though the thermostat probably wasn't set much higher than freezing. I was carried through high stone corridors with vaulted ceilings that reminded me of the big old churches in Back Bay, great places to warm up when you're homeless in the winter. Occasionally a booming sound echoed through the fortress, like someone was shooting cannons in the distance. Skadi barked orders to her servants, and we were all taken to separate rooms to get cleaned up. A Yachten manservant, giant servant, lowered me into a bath, so hot I hit a high note I hadn't been able to sing since 4th grade. While I soaked, he gave me something to drink, a vile herbal concoction that burned my throat and made my fingers and toes spasm. He hauled me out of the bath, and by the time he got me dressed in a white wool tunic and breeches, I had to admit I almost felt okay again, even with Jack now hanging back on my neck chain as a runestone. The color of my toes and fingers had returned to pink. I could feel my face. My nose had not fallen off from frostbite, and my lips were right where Alex had left them. "You live," the Yachten grumbled, like this was a personal failure on his part. He gave me comfortable fur shoes and a thick, warm cloak, and then let me out to the main hall where my friends were waiting. The hall was standard Viking for the most part, a rough-hewn stone floor covered with straw, a ceiling made from spears and shields, 3 tables in a U-shape around a central fire, though Scotty's flames had burned white and blue and seemed to give off no heat. Along one side of the hall, a row of cathedral-sized windows opened into the blizzard-blurred vista. I saw no glass on the windows, but the wind and snow didn't trespass inside. At the center table, Scotty sat on a throne carved from yew wood and overlain with furs. Her servants bustled around, putting out platters of fresh bread and roasted meat, along with steaming mugs that smelled like hot chocolate? Suddenly, I liked Scotty a lot more. My friends were all dressed like me, in white wool, so we looked like a secret society of very clean monks, the Fellowship of the Bleach. I admit I scanned for Alex first, hoping to sit next to her, but she was on the far bench, wedged between Mallory and Halfborn, with TJ at the end. Alex caught me. She mimicked my gaping face like, "What are you looking at?" So it was back to normal then. One life-and-death kiss, and we returned to our regularly scheduled snark. Great. I sat next to Blitzen, Herstone, and Sam, which was just fine. We all dug into our dinner except for Sam. She hadn't bathed, since that was also against Ramadan rules, but she'd changed her clothes. Her hijab had shifted color to match her white outfit. Somehow she'd managed not to stare longingly at everyone else's food, which convinced me beyond a doubt that she had superhuman endurance. Scotty lounged on her throne, her cat-o'-nine-tails hair draped over her shoulders, her fur coat making her look even larger than she was. She spun an arrow on top of her knee. Behind her, the wall was lined with racks of equipment, skis, bows, quivers of arrows. I guess she was a fan of cross-country archery. "Welcome, travelers," said our host, "to Thyheimer. In your language, Thunderhome." As if on cue, a rumble shook the throne. The same boom I'd heard when deeper in the fortress. Now I knew what it was. Snow thunder. You heard it in Boston sometimes when a snowstorm mixed with a thunderstorm. It sounded like firecrackers going off inside a cotton pillow, if you magnified that sound by 1,000,000. "Thunderhome," Halfborn nodded gravely. "A good name, considering, the constant—" Boom! Thunder boomed again, rattling the plates on the table.